Welcome to Phronesis. Join us on this journey of spiritual and personal growth. Subscribe now.
Do you know that money stays in the hands of Asians 7 times longer than in the hands of Africans? What does that mean? It means that when an African has money, instantly he wants to spend it. When an Asian has money, he doesn't spend it. He keeps it. And he invests it. And he multiplies it before he starts spending. And so you have a lot of people who earn their salary and then they spend their salary. They are Esau's. They earn it and kill it. They hunt for it and kill it at the end of the month. They hunt for it and kill it at the end of the month. And so they eat from what you call hand to mouth. Hand to mouth. Hunt, kill. Hunt, kill. So for a lot of people, at the end of the month when they receive their salary, everything has already been spent. Everything. No savings. Every individual must invest, sow seed in God. Sow seed in yourself and sow seed into your future. You should live. As a matter of fact, God never designed human beings to spend 100% of what they earn. Human beings are supposed to spend a minimum of 70% of what they earn. God said the tithe belongs to me, and beyond the tithe, you have to also sow into yourself, and you also have to sow into your future. If you don't do that, there will never be stock. There will never be resource available for you when you need to tap it. And that was the problem with Esau. So when his father needed a goat, he had to go back to the forest and start from the scratch, as if all his life he had acquired nothing. By this time, he should have had something ready, but he had nothing ready. And he comes, and when he comes, he's late. You know, there is something about the African system. And it's great to have a place like this in Africa. But this is just a tiny little dot on our continent. If you leave this campus, the rest of it doesn't make any impression on you. So we come here, but we go to duplicate. There is something about the African system where people are blessed with much but achieve very little. And you know the statistics. We have the greatest resources in the world. We have everything. But we hunt for it and we kill it. The greatest trading partner of Africa is Europe. We sell everything and they sell it back to us 4 times. We sell everything and they sell it back to us 4 times. That was the Esau problem. So when Esau comes, the blessing is gone. And yes, he was not the owner of the blessing. Some people say, well, but Jacob deceived his father. And yes, Jacob deceived his father, and that was wrong. I think what Jacob should have done was just to have told his father, you know, Dad, 20 years ago, me and Esau sat down and we swore before the Lord. And Esau sold the birthright to me. So truly, I'm the owner of the birthright. And Jacob, Isaac, who respected covenant, would still have blessed him. He didn't need to disguise himself, because the blessing was his. He had bought it legally, legitimately, and rightly. And no wonder God never, ever rebuked Jacob for stealing his brother's birthright. In the world, whether in sports or whatever you do, you're going to come across people who operate the Esau system. and the Jacob system. In the boxing world, there is this boxing promoter. He's quite a strange individual. He has a hair that looked as if a bomb was thrown into it. His hairstyle looks like somebody lit a bomb. An explosion took place in it. He's a boxing promoter. He's never fought anybody. But if you talk to every boxer from Muhammad Ali to Mike Tyson, they will tell you he has all their money. Now, how did he get their money? He went, these guys were hungry people who were looking for opportunity. He signs contract with them. He says, I'll make you a champion, you make me a millionaire. He puts the people in the ring, they get boxed, they sign, they earn the money, and a huge percentage goes to him. Then later on, they get angry and upset, and they take him to court. And he says, well, but you signed it. They say, well, but we didn't know we'll be that rich, but you signed it. But we didn't know it will happen this way, but you signed it. Ignorance is not an excuse, my brother. That's why you don't ever negotiate with somebody when you are hungry. Don't ever negotiate in hunger. Because if you are hungry, you will negotiate your birthright very easily. And don't ever negotiate when you are tired. You know, for me, the most amazing thing about Esau is not even that he sold the birthright, but he sold it for only one meal. Now, if I was Esau, I'll say, fine, give me the birthright, I'll give you the birthright, but you will feed me 3 times a day for the rest of my life. But he just negotiated for supper, and breakfast was coming in 12 hours' time. He didn't negotiate for breakfast, he didn't negotiate for lunch, just one supper. You may be hungry today, but remember your birthright. And when you remember your birthright, protect your future. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about how Esau turned the situation around. Because, you see, you would later discover that Esau turned his situation around. And you discover he had a paradigm shift. And that paradigm shift began a process of recovery for him. Then you will also discover that Jacob himself, after all this, became an Esau. Because you see, Esau doesn't have a copyright on Esau, and Jacob doesn't have a copyright on Jacob. A Jacob can become an Esau, and an Esau can become a Jacob. So you will discover that when Jacob was going to marry, he became an Esau. He allowed what he saw today to take what he will have in 7 years. He is the most unintelligent, the most unsophisticated, the craziest lovebird I've ever seen. This guy is so dumb. He says, I love this woman so much, I'm negotiating 7 years' salary to marry her. Now, what would you do after you marry her when you've negotiated away the salary? Then when he was given the raw deal, he renegotiated the contract for another 7 years, 14 years. So Jacobs can also become Esau's. But the good news is that you can begin as an Esau and become a Jacob. You can begin as an Esau and renegotiate the whole deal. And we're going to look at the process to get out, because that is the most important thing, because our nations are already Esau, but we have to start negotiating our way out of Esau to become Jacob's. And I trust that in your life, God will do something in your life that will break the yoke of Jacob off your neck and cause you to turn your situation around. There is hope for Africa. And we will solve the significant problems we are faced with. Already, it has been shown in Canaan land that it can be done. And it will be shown all across the continent that it can be done. We can solve the significant problems. Not with an Esau paradigm, but with a Jacob paradigm. Because God has blessed the house of Jacob and cursed the house of Esau. But Esau can become a Jacob when he turns around.